What if you could restore and even retrain your liver naturally, no matter your age or whether you still have your gallbladder? In today's episode, we're driving into powerful, time-tested practices that are quietly transforming lives in homes and clinics across the world. Inspired by the latest insights from top experts in liver and gallbladder health, this conversation will give you a fresh lens on how the body heals and what might be missing from your current approach. If you've ever wondered how to support your liver without harsh detoxes or trendy gimmicks, this is the podcast for you.
Gallbladder gone. Now what? Let's heal from the inside out.
Welcome to Gallbladder Gone? Now what? The podcast for Christian women navigating life after gallbladder removal. Hosted by Jamie McCrivey, holistic nutritionist, wife, boy mum, grandma, and a firm believer in God's design for lasting health. Did you know that over 1.2 million Americans have their gallbladders removed every year, and that the majority of them are women? Even more eye-opening is that all gallbladder issues are digestive issues. And poor digestion is at the root of up to 80% of all disease, including hormone imbalances and weight struggles. While Jamie isn't a doctor and this podcast isn't medical advice, she shares real solutions rooted in research, experience, and God's Word. Let's get practical, biblical, and real, one step at a time.
Hello and welcome back. I'm so happy to have you here. And today we're going to be talking about some of my favorite things. I love protocols and incorporating healthy things into our daily routines. So I want to start out with a scripture first, and this is Galatians 6:9. And it says, "And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not." So this is perfect for emphasizing that healing takes time, but the harvest is coming if you stay the course. So these next three protocols that I'm going to be talking about, or therapies that I love to add in, especially with clients, are going to be things that need some consistency. They're going to need some effort, but the effort is well worth it. And so Hippocrates said, "Healing is a matter of time, but it is sometimes a matter of opportunity." So this is what I hope to give you is this opportunity for healing and this opportunity to deep dive a little bit maybe farther than you've gone before to learn why we do certain therapies and that we can do them at home. Okay, so this episode dives into the proven natural methods that are used to restore the liver and gallbladder health. Now, if you don't have a gallbladder, that's okay. Then these become absolutely paramount. And if you're struggling with a gallbladder, this is also going to be incredibly important. So these three protocols are in my course, and they're drawing on the insights that were shared by in a liver and gallbladder summit where it featured 40 experts around the world in liver detoxification and functions. So these are time-tested protocols that are making a difference in clinics and homes around the world. So this isn't just nonsense or just opinion. This is what is, cutting edge and really helping people out. So your liver does far more than detox. We tend to focus on that because it's a huge function of the liver, but it also helps regulate hormones, digest fats, manage energy. So when we remove the gallbladder, which is a cholecystectomy, the liver has to take over entirely. So it's kind of like losing your right hand man. So often, especially in Western medicine, they take out the gallbladder and then they don't tell you what to do to support the liver once its BFF is gone, something that it really depends on. So whether you're preparing for surgery recovering from surgery or just want to strengthen your liver, these are the protocols that are going to help. So these are again expert-backed strategies to support the liver and gallbladder health. So I'm going to start out with number one, and this is actually in backwards order. So three is my favorite. So number one is very effective and people really enjoy doing it. It's not my absolute favorite, but it's very effective. So this is a liver and gallbladder flush. Now I have put the link to the book, The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Flush by Andreas Moritz. And all of my notes and PDFs for each episode are going to be always linked in the show notes. So no worries there. So this particular book, and there's also Facebook pages that are dedicated to it. I'm always a little leery of getting, advice or whatever from Joe Schmo down the street, who I have no idea who he is behind his Facebook account. So I go straight to the book, which is The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Flush. So this is where they take olive oil and lemon juice and ghee and drink it. It's a whole protocol and it's written out and it was first documented in the British Medical Journal in about the 1880s. So this is not new. And so things have this resurgence, right? So it's like, oh, we think it's new, but it's actually been around for quite some time. So John Douillard, who is an Ayurvedic doctor, and I love his videos on YouTube. So if you want to check him out and his books, they're fantastic about Ayurveda and science. So he says, quote, flushes can reset function and cleanse accumulated bile, sludge, or stones. So he suggests he has a little bit deeper protocol where there's a diet that we do that kind of has things in it that break stuff down. And there's apple juice involved, and it's about I think it's a 3 or 5 day cleanse. I haven't done it in a little bit. But my husband, bless his heart, he does so much with me. And I have both done it. And so it is suggested to do it under the guidance of a practitioner if you're actively passing stones or have had gallbladder issues. But even though the therapy seems involved and very crazy, many people are moving forward and completely fine. One of the things we do suggest is if you don't have a gallbladder, that you would use um, coconut oil instead, and there's an amount, so you don't want to go up. So it's like on the first day, you're going to take a tablespoon of ghee, and then on the second day, 2 tablespoons on the third day. And so you kind of keep going up. So we just top out at like a teaspoon or a tablespoon, depending on how much you can handle of coconut oil. So that's all in the book. I don't want to confuse you and be like, oh, wait, what was she saying you should do? So, you know, if that, and I have the link to the book. All right, let's move on to this is the next two, the 2 and 3 are my absolute favorites. I do these all the time. So second one, that second therapy for thriving without a gallbladder or getting a sick gallbladder better is a castor oil pack. So again, I have a link to a castor oil pack in the show notes. But this is a traditional Ayurvedic remedy that has been used for centuries. So this has been used, oh my gosh, all over the world for centuries. And so essentially what you do is you get this castor oil pack. They call it a pack, but it's more like a belt. It almost looks like a cummerbund a little bit. And you put just about a tablespoon of castor oil on it, and then you place it over the liver. And I usually have my clients go to sleep with it on. So start doing it every night. It takes about a minute to get the oil on and then strapped up, and then you go to bed. You probably want a pair of jammies that can get oil on them and kind of ruined. I haven't noticed a huge mess, but some people, just know that it can leak. Okay, so why a castor oil pack? So I absolutely love these. Castor oil's job is to break down things in the body that don't belong there. So, for example, fibroids. So you can put a castor oil pack over your uterus or over your fallopian tubes or over your thyroid, so it can be used, it breaks down tumors and scar tissue, and it's just so phenomenal. This is the caveat here, though. It is a slow therapy, but that goes very deep. So it's really one of those things you don't do it for a week and say, oh, it didn't work. You do it for a year, right? So I've been doing castor oil packs about 4 to 5 times a week for 4 or 5 years. And so it's just become part of my habit. And another thing that it does is it stimulates lymph flow. So we're getting that lymph, that kind of trash out our immune system perked up. It increases circulation. And in our case, also it supports that bile movement. So we've talked about the importance of getting that bile sludge that's been accumulating, or stones, to be broken down and removed out of the liver. And so this is such an easy, inexpensive way to do the daily therapy that has tremendous benefits. Another benefit that it has is that it nourishes the nervous system. And so clients of mine who've had insomnia or anxiety or a chatty brain, they start to wear castor oil packs. They notice that their sleep is so much better. So Dr. Ann Hill, who's a naturopathic doctor, says, I usually recommend castor oil packs 2 to 3 times a week when we're working with gallbladder and bile flow or working to cleanse the liver. So I had a friend asked me the other day, so can I do it too much? And you can't do it too much. In fact, as I speak, my mom is struggling with some liver issues, and I've told her wear the castor oil pack all day and all night and reapply the castor oil 2 to 3 times a day. And so you can use it all day, every day. And it's an amazing um, protocol to have. All right. So we use the castor oil packs regularly for gentle detox and to support reproductive and digestive health. So it's truly fantastic. People have even used castor oil packs or castor oil um, to increase hair growth. So you can use it on their scalp and then wash it off. It's really thick and viscous. Another thing is on eyelashes or eyebrows, on the face. My son absolutely loves castor oil in his hair. He'll put it on his scalp and go to sleep and wake up and shower. And then he also likes it I make a face cream. It's kind of like he uses it as an aftershave lotion, and he puts some castor oil in his and really enjoys it. All right. My third favorite. So this is castor oil packs is like an everyday thing that is slow and it's gentle. If you want a real big impact, this is the one. And this is the one that I really have hesitated in the past to tell people about until I started getting so many people telling me the benefits once they've tried it. So it is coffee enemas. I'm going to say it again. Yes, coffee enemas. No, it is not Folgers. No, it is a special kind of coffee that is medicinal, and we use it in enemas. So so I have the full protocol for my coffee enema stack in my courses. It's a little bit detailed with links and has all the stuff, but I'm going to go through it a little bit here. I believe in a coffee enema stack, and so it's more balanced, but we're just going to kind of jump right into coffee enema. So years ago, I was not feeling well. Like I knew there was something wrong. About the time that I was finding out that I had all the SIBO, H. pylori, and the chronic E. coli infection, it was like there was something in me that weirdly I felt a little bit like I was dying, like I lost my life force or something. Like I couldn't really explain it. And so I was doing research. I was like, I don't know what to do. And I came across coffee enemas. Now, this is before they became, now they're a little bit more popular, but this is way before they became popular. And so I was doing this research and I thought, what do I have to lose? But my dignity, right? So I was like, so I wanted to wait till my husband was at work. I didn't want to tell anyone I was doing this. I mean, it seemed kind of embarrassing. Like, who wants to talk about enemas, right? And so I waited till my husband went to work. My kids were all at school and gone. And then I prepared the coffee enema and I did my first enema. And I tell you, I started feeling very hopeful. Like I felt really good afterwards. And I had been reading um a book about it that said, doing them consistently in the first little bit. So I committed to 30 days of a a coffee enema. And so about 2 weeks in, so I've been doing them and you getting into a groove, it takes a little bit like, to learn how to do it and feel comfortable and kind of so it takes a little bit longer in the beginning. So about 2 weeks in, I was doing this coffee enema and I went after I was done, I went to the toilet and I released the enema and so many parasites and so much mucoid plaque came out that it actually scared me. And I flushed the toilet as fast as I could. And then I was like, drat, I should have taken a picture or something because I wanted to know what it was. Because at the time I didn't know what it was. It just came out and I was like, I have no idea what this is. And so then it happened again. And I was able to take a picture of it and do some research. And so, but I remember after that first time of getting all of that out of me, I felt a lightness and hope. Like I felt so much better. Like my body just released tons of toxins. And then um, my energy started coming back. I started sleeping again. Like it really rocked my world. And that's when I started telling people about it. So I told my husband, I'm like, this is what I've been doing. And bless his heart, he's like, well, I want to try that. And so he's actually started doing them as well. And then I was with a group of friends and a friend was saying how she had migraines and her stomach hurt all the time, like to the touch. And I said, well, I've been doing these things, coffee enemas. And she looked at me, she's funny. She looks at me, she goes, I never ever want you to say those words to me again, ever. And so we laughed and I was like, okay, I will never bring it up again. But a couple days later, she called me in tears and said, I am in so much pain. I'm willing to do anything. And so I gathered the supplies for her and taught her how to do it. And she has been now doing them for several years, and especially when she gets migraines. But she goes, I never knew that like touching my stomach, everybody wasn't in pain. And so she is now pain free with that. And another friend of mine who, was going through cancer had also started adopting a coffee enema lifestyle, and her doctors were always surprised at how well her liver did with the amount of medication she was doing. So there's so many things that have been but that have been benefited. I have client story after client story of how this is now a regular part of their life. In fact, we call them coffee breaks, like, because you don't want to tell everybody you're going to do a coffee enema. So we'll say, oh, I'm going to go do a break, or I'm going to take a coffee break. And then, so it's kind of like code for those of us who do it. But when these are really used frequently in functional medicine for liver detox and reducing toxicity. Now, I'm telling you, it is crazy that when I was doing it, I could and it's something that people don't like talking about, but I'm going to take the shame out of this, is that you start to smell the toxin come out of you. So, I had a client who was a hairdresser for years, and when she was retired or stopped doing it, she's still young, but when she would do her coffee enemas, she would smell like perm solution and like coloring smell come out of her because it had seeped into her tissues. And so she started to smell that coming out. People who've worked on, I had one client who did a lot of car repair and could almost smell like gasoline or something that would come out when they would release. So all these toxins start to be pulled from the tissues. So historically, the coffee enemas were in the Merrick Manual and used in hospitals in the 1850s for post-operative shock and poisoning. And they were used to help manage pain, right? So pain goes way down when toxin gets out of the body and there's no poison there. And so one of the things it does is it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. So that's your rest and digest. So it takes you from like this whole anxiety and everything feeling like it's uh, on your nerves, like your nerves are inflamed, and it starts to bring it down and calm. And it increases glutathione production over 200%. So this is huge. So glutathione goes in and it starts to heal the body. So it increases this in your body. So your body goes, oh, wow, we're going to not only get the toxin out, but now we're going to go in and we're really going to heal. And so this helps, coffee enemas help dump liver toxins more efficiently. That leads to deep cellular cleansing. So in the beginning, it feels kind of harsh, like it's a little bit challenging to do. So it's one of those things that when you do the coffee enema, you use a specific type of coffee that is mold free and it's blonde, so it doesn't smell like coffee. There are some online on Amazon that are a little roasted, but those aren't as therapeutic. And so we like using S.A. Wilson. Um, but what it does is it goes in and you lie on your right side as you put the solution in and you try to stay 15 minutes, up to 15, not more. More is not better. So what happens is it goes right next to that portal vein, the hepatic portal vein. So hepatic meaning liver, right? Right next to there. And it allows every 3 minutes the entire blood from the body to go through and filter. So in the beginning, you may be only able to hold it 2 or 3 minutes, and that's great. So then try for 6, and then try for 9, and then try for the whole 15. Um, and weirdly, around minute 7, gets really hard. If you can push past minute 7, usually it kind of gets easier. And so this is something I suggest to my clients. Like I said, we do a stack that I explain that repletes the body because you also need to make sure that you have um, the electrolytes. You don't want to lose your electrolytes. So this is all in my course, but you can also look this stuff up online. And you know, when we're doing this, making sure that I tell my clients do it every day for 30 days and then see how you feel. And then maybe once a week, once a month, or depending on what you need. For those who struggle or who don't have a gallbladder, I generally say 2 to 3 times a week. And because we just need the extra help. So uh, coffee enemas do so much more than move the bowels. A lot of people think, oh, well, I'm not constipated. We're not talking about constipation here. We're talking about awakening the liver to do its job better. And so, with these three amazing protocols, which is the liver and gallbladder flushes, the castor oil packs, and the coffee enemas or coffee breaks, these aren't um, these are strategies, not trends. And so they're historical, they're clinical, they're effective. You can also support your liver naturally, even if your gallbladder is gone. That's what we're trying to do here. And another thing is going back to the scripture. I'll read it again. And let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. This means consistency matters, diligence matters. These aren't one-time fixes. You're not going to do, I had one person who came to me and we talked about coffee enemas and they're like, oh, I tried that and it didn't work. And I said, you did? Tell me about it. They did one coffee enema and it didn't work. And when I explained, she said, oh, okay. And so then she went back and she did the 30 days and absolutely loved it. But like I said, it wasn't till week 2 for me that I really turned that corner. And it's about week 2 or 3 for people. So diligence pays off. So these aren't, that one-time fixes, but they are gentle routines for long-term wellness. And so for me, I do coffee enemas very regularly. I use my castor oil pack almost daily. And then every once in a while, I will do a liver and gallbladder flush. I don't have a gallbladder, so it's basically a liver flush. And I go back and look in previous episodes of eating foods and we'll be talking about other things that we can add too. So kind of whatever speaks to you, but choosing some things and sticking with them long term is going to be the biggest payoff in the long run. All right, so that's a wrap on today's episode. And so, again, all the PDFs, all the links, everything is in the show notes. And so today we talked about 3 powerful therapies to heal your body that are proven and natural. And so I was just like you. I was overwhelmed by all the health advice out there. One day something is good, the next day it's bad, and then something's trending, and then you find out that it's not great for you. So I was bouncing between these fad diets and supplements and symptoms that I couldn't seem to shake. And so I want you to know that I know what that feels like, and it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be confusing. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be something that is very organized and very gentle and, easy to understand. And so that is exactly why I created my DIY course, 7 Principles to Heal Digestion, Manage Weight, and Balance Hormones. And there are, again, 2 forms that you can choose from. One if you're a menstruating woman, one if you're a non-menstruating woman, or you're a gentleman and would like to try to balance your digestion, manage weight, and also cleanse your body. So this is not another quick fix. It is a faith-informed, step-by-step roadmap that helps you finally connect the dots, especially if you've been living without a gallbladder and battling hormone issues or feel stuck in cycles of digestive discomfort. This is for you. And here's why it matters. Trying to piece things together on your own costs you time. It leads to frustration and often leaves you feeling like you're failing. And this is the course that is designed to help you through all that noise and help you focus your energy on healing and on getting clarity and confidence in what you're doing. So whether you're newly diagnosed, you're pre or post surgery, or just ready for something that finally makes sense, this course is the right step for you. It helps me, I help you simplify your healing because your body can recover when it's supported the right way. So tap the links in the show notes and move forward without the guesswork. So if you need extra support, go over to my Facebook page and I'll start posting in there more. And also, we'll get ready for next week, which is episode 15, No Gallbladder, No Peace, the mental and spiritual costs that no one talks about. So there is a mental and spiritual component that needs to be healed as well when we're talking about liver and gallbladder. So I will see you then. Until then, happy digesting.
If this episode encouraged you or offered practical insight, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Leaving a review, subscribing, and sharing with even one friend helps more people discover this message. And Jamie is truly grateful for your support. Be sure to check the show notes for free downloads, helpful resources, and a link to join Jamie's private Facebook group for extra support and community that blends practical health with biblical truth. Just a reminder, Jamie isn't a doctor, so always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your health plan.